let's try this YouTube thing. So back in October, I got rear-ended. Here's some photos right here. And so my Nissan Pathfinder is in the shop. And I've had this Toyota RAV4 2021 for a couple weeks now. And I had the brightest idea, since the car I usually drive is in the shop, when am I gonna have the opportunity to, or make a Toyota RAV4 look cool? So we rocked up on this location, little foresty, and I'm gonna just have a POV photo shoot. Okay, so today I'll be shooting with the Sony A7r III with the Samyang 85mm 1.4 Mark I, the only lens that I own, and I'm using just a circular polarizer, which really helps with cutting out the reflections of your shots, especially when you're shooting in broad daylight. And first, I just want to start by warming up. You want to get all your bad shots out of the way first. After your first 10 shift photos, you should start beginning in that flow state. So I'll be shooting at f2 ISO 100 and just messing around with the shutter here and there for it to correctly expose. And just really seeing how the car looks at this location. And it's really nice because a Toyota RAV4 is like a mom car, and it's not supposed to be in like a foresty road. So, you know, one thing I really like to do when I shoot cars is putting cars in places where they don't belong. Exactly what I'm doing here. Hello, Mr. Cal. You want a photo? I got you. Hey. Don't be shy now. You're looking at me. Yeah, you. Hey. Oh, man. This location's pretty nice. I mean, you got a couple Bud Light cans here and there. You got some people watching an abandoned house. A bunch of leaves everywhere, but this spot really breeds fall. So, all right, we'll take a couple photos. Car from the back. Now, I don't really like the placement of where it's at, so we're just gonna go ahead and move it. Okay, so now I just flip the orientation of the car, put it in the middle of the road, and hopefully no one comes by. So since I'm at 85mm, I'm gonna have to take a couple steps back. Switch my focus mode. And so when shooting cars, shooting straight on is nice and all, but there's some people down there. You want to try to frame your shots to where some people coming here. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. So I'm just gonna get a couple of my shots. So we're at a different location now. At the last spot, as I went to go turn around the car, these two guys just started walking down outside their house. Did a little whistle, and I was like, nah, I can't be fucked right now. So we're at one of my favorite spots. I've shot a Porsche here, a Lamborghini Gallardo, and a Audi R8. I try to shoot the car from every different angle and from the front, you know, from the back. And shooting a car straight on is nice, but you sometimes want to have the car in a different orientation. So for this shot, I have the car at an angle more of like a 45 degrees, and I'm framing the car at the bottom third of my shot, giving it some more depth, shooting at f2 ISO 100, and making sure I spin my polarizer. To cut out all the reflections and stuff. And even though if you shoot it up in front, you also want to see your environment and see if there are any other shots. So right here, there's like a little kind of puddle area right here. And as the car is set up, you see, squat down, and there's like a little reflection going on. Take a look right there. Kind of looks cool, but I think this time I'm going to turn the wheel. Back to what I was saying. Don't eat shit, don't eat shit, don't eat shit, don't eat shit. Ugh! Oh yeah, my shoes are getting fucked, whatever. Anything for the shot, honestly. So from right here, we have the car on, and we have a little puddle at the bottom. So I'm gonna try to take a couple steps back and frame it to where, see, just you guys, to where it's in the shot. Get a bit lower. Check the polarizer, cut out the shadows. That looks pretty good. I might take one more just to straighten up the shot. Cool. While shooting cars and just photography in general, it's a good habit to take photos, both portrait and landscape. So if you're posting these, you know, on social media, usually shooting portraits, but, you know, something that I've learned recently, and a good photographer, Aaron Broomhalder, does is he shoots landscape and then crops into portrait. Oh man. So one of my favorite shots is shooting the car at a high angle to where the car's at the bottom 2/3 of the frame, but you got the headlights in. And I just gotta take a couple steps back. Shoot up high. And focusing on the headlight, take that photo, bang. So while shooting, again, since I'm at an 85 mil, I gotta take a couple steps back, but still, a big fan of the compression the Samyang 1.4 has. Boom. And while you're shooting high, I feel like someone's coming now. While you're shooting high, you also wanna shoot kind of low. So I'll just sit down right here and really put the car in the middle of the frame. Who would have fucking thought making a mom car looks so sick? Would be actually a lot of fun. Now you guys are actually seeing it on the frame. I don't even know how I'm gonna edit these right now. But since it's like a little bit of an overcast, kind of foggy, I feel like a little apocalypse / moody, whatever the fuck moody means. Oop, there goes that. Moody edit would be nice. One sec, it's like fall, almost winter time. I'm definitely gonna go with like a little moody type of edit. And as a Sony shooter, you know, you gotta make it teal and orange because that's what everyone's doing. And when shooting, on my camera I like to have my grids, the rule of thirds. And my favorite spot is usually placing the subject at one of the bottom crosses. It just looks different than shooting a car up front. And then just placing the car in different areas, try to capture some depth of field. So for this shot, really squatting near the ground, using the grass in the foreground, putting on the left third of the image, And I'm gonna just go a bit higher. And since there's the road, giving you some more depth of field for where it's at. That's a really good photo. Ooh, that's such a good photo. I think that looks pretty good where it's at. You know, not too serious, just going out there and taking the more photos you take makes you a better photographer. And the more you use a location, the better you know where to place your subject. So let's cut that out. I think I'm going to bring up my aperture to about 2.8. Keep my ISO where it's at. That looks really good. Focusing on the front of the car, shooting from a low angle. And then just really adjust my polarizer to cut out the shadows. All right, I took 2 shots. I'll figure out what looks good right there. And, you know, not really just focus on just the front of the car. So naturally what I see is where the car's placed, there's a little frame with the post on the right, shooting through the trees. So I'm really gonna focus on the rear can't even fucking talk. The rear tail light. And so on my custom settings, I have an APS-C mode. So it turns my 85mm to a 135mm. So I can get really closer shot, like almost like a zoomed in lens. So I really recommend having a APS-C button that you could use to change focal length of your lens, because you literally have 2 lenses in one. Okay, that looks really good. And now just take a couple steps back. And again, shooting both landscape and portraits is very important, because, you know, for me personally, whenever I post on Instagram, I really enjoy making little splits and, you know, just turning a landscape photo into 2 4x5, I think is the crop for it. And we'll shoot a bit lower, really get the depth in with using the road at the bottom of the frame. Cool. And then we'll go a bit closer, take a photo of the emblem at, we'll go to f1.4 because, you know, why not? Bring up my shutter speed to compensate. Boom. I fucked up. Now we're going to shoot some interior shots. Now, usually this is a lot more fun when you have another person with you, or when you're shooting with a team so they can hold the door. But what I'm gonna try to do is just try to give keep the door a little bit open. We're gonna be at f1.4, exposed inside, and we're gonna focus on the steering wheel. Get 1 shot normal and then 1 shot. Oh, that's a good APS-C shot right there. Cool. And then just some details. Well, details that are clean, because I have obliterated this car. And we'll shoot a little bit of the windshield controls. Another favorite shot of mine is shooting the gauges of a car. Let's see if I can focus on it. Yeah, I can. And it's just, you know, let me say, how do I say this? While shooting cars, yeah, the car is nice and all, but detail shots are definitely my favorite. Like shooting from behind the car and focusing on the rear view or side mirror. And since I'm shooting at 1.4, the depth of field is just buttery. Let me just right there. So I'm gonna take a photo of shooting the rear view mirror and then focusing on the tail light. So right there, you see the 2 photos. One's focusing farther away, one is focusing closer. Okay, so the rear, what the fuck you call it, wheel emblem is straight up, and it looks good. I mean, I'm shit at Photoshop, so there's no chance I'm going to Photoshop that straight, but we'll make the most out of it. Detail shots are very important for a car. And there's barbed wire, so I'm not gonna try to get caught in it. Fuck me. And I will be focusing on the wheel. Spin the polarizer a bit. Nice. And while I'm here, I'm gonna go into APS-C mode and just focus on the wheel as well, trying to centering it. Let's go shoot at a lower angle. And while I'm here, shoot it horizontal at APS-C. That looks really nice. Ah, cool. Shoot at a low angle, still focusing on the, let me see, am I in APS-C? Yeah, I was, okay. Focusing on the wheel, but also trying to get that tail light in the frame as well. Honestly, let's just normalize. If you have a rental car and you're a photographer, shoot the fuck out of it. No one's gonna really care. You get to make a basic car or just a car in general look sick. Might as well make the most out of it, you know? This car has been fun to shoot rollers in as well. Shout out to the boys and just helping out your photography friends, because again, photography with friends is usually the most fun and the best because you get to bounce off ideas. One thing is shooting underexposed, and if you're shooting raw, you can always bring stuff back in post. Oh, this is gonna be such a good split. All right. Ooh, I'd say that was a good shoot, and we'll head back to the command center and we'll see y'all in Lightroom. Okay, so we are back in Lightroom, and I got, let's see, 1, 4, 6, 8, 9. I got 9 photos that are kind of keepers, and we're recording on my phone right there. Hey guys, and then I'm just recording the screen on Lightroom. So for this first photo is at the first spot. I had the car at 45 degrees, and before, you know, people yelled at me, and pretty much in this edit I went with like a, I guess you'd say, Halloween theme, more of like a dark desaturated shadows and like orange leaves and orange highlights in the forest. Personally, I like a simple S-curve we got going on right here, just a basic S-curve. Really cut out my highlights, and because if I had them up, it would be kind of more overexposed, and I personally like to have a really moody edit, and you know, jacked up the shadows all the way up, blacks not really touched. It's just minor exposure settings here and there. And then for colors, I really shifted the reds towards the orange side, just desaturated the oranges just a little bit, and as you can see, I moved the hue of the yellows all the way to the left. Blues are kind of desaturated here, very surprising considering I shoot Sony. And but as you can see in the shadows and highlights, I have just a little bit of blue in the shadows, and then really brought them up in the highlights. And something that I have been doing recently in my editing style, let me look for a better picture. As you can see, there was like a little bit of grain showing, and I used to shoot, you know, have the most buttery of photos, you know, dropping that clarity all the way down to negative 100, but I have changed, and shout out to the boys, Shot by Garrison and Huff Photography on Instagram. They're the ones who've been using a lot of grain. Also, the homie Decent Nomad out in Pensacola, he was just here this past weekend, and yeah, they've been using a lot of grain, and honestly, it's kind of grown on me. I mean, it makes the photo look a little bit what's I'm looking for, authentic, like very old. And the next photo I have right here is the shot of the back, really putting the car in the middle. And I do have a couple masks. Holy fuck, English is hard. I have one right at the bottom of the frame to where the road is, just to really bring your attention towards the center, of course, with a subject mask on the car. I said it right that time. And then, fuck, I have a hard time saying this word. Vignette, whatever the fuck, you know what I'm talking about. And I like to invert it and just bring the exposure down just a little bit instead of just using the setting here in the effects tab. And then I personally think these are my two favorite photos from the set. They're both landscape, but like I said during the POV, I like to have it to where I have split photos so I can do two 4x5 photos. And here I have the car framed. If I pull up my grid in the crop, let me change this to row to thirds. This is what I was talking about. This little bottom right like intersection or this bottom left is usually where I like to put my subjects at and really show the environment with having an 85mm. And you could really in this photo see the road and you know where the car is going, or like, you know, adds really some huge depth of field in the photo. Next, another personal favorite, I just love how freaking sharp the Samyang is. I mean, shout out to Samyang, y'all make some really great lenses. Not sponsored, by the way. And yeah, I just focus on the car. I think I focus on the rear taillight. But as you can see, it's just a tack sharp lens. Of course, yeah, I have grain on the shot, but like it's the fog was like the mood, and then of course I edited very dark. We'll skip that photo, go to detail shots now. I'm not sure if I said this in the video, but I'm a huge fan of detail shots because yes, the exterior of the car is nice, but inside, when you're sitting inside of the car, that's what you're seeing all the time. And if it looks cool, you're probably gonna like it. So one of these favorite compositions I love to do is opening the door slightly and then kind of using the door and I guess the passenger door as like a little frame, and then really focusing onto the steering wheel right there in the middle. Same thing with the gauges, but this time I'm using the steering wheel instead as my frame. And then lastly, we have, I think this is one of the last photos I was taking. You know, I changed the position of the car where it's at, and the RAV4 has some different settings that can go off-road, eco, or sport mode. And I just personally felt like putting the car on a gravel road really showcases that it can go off-roading. And, you know, it is a car that can get dirty when you want it to and just do a little bit of off-roading. So, yeah, you know, this is like the first photo that I just edited, got the major idea of what I want, and then just copy pasted over to the rest of the photos. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. You know, this is a couple days after, and the car, I no longer have the car. It was a good call to take a photo of, or have a photo shoot of this Toyota RAV4. So, you know, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Definitely gonna be doing more. And, you know, if there's anything I can improve on, you guys leave a comment down below. Let me know what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. You know, leave a like if you did. And if you don't, you know, dislike it. I don't even know if that's still an option on YouTube anymore. And then, what else? Yeah, follow me on Instagram at Gerardo Moyo right here. I'll put this right here. I'll just figure out how to edit that in. And if you want to see more car photos, Instagram's the best place to find them. Yeah, stay tuned. Looking forward to making more of these. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. I don't have a catchphrase or what to say at the end. It'll come to me. So with all that being said, hope you guys have a good one. And go out there and create some content that makes you happy. I'm not going to coin that. It's just for the purpose. All right, I gotta shut the fuck up. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.